Alright, game review. Bully. Before we start, let's talk about the plot. A kid named Jimmy is sent to Bulworth Academy, a boarding school in New England, while his mother and her new husband go on vacation for a year, leaving Jimmy behind. After being in the game no longer than 10 seconds, these three guys start a fight with Jimmy for no reason. It comes out of nowhere. It's like, okay, you're in boarding school, time to have a fight with three guys. Rockstar just sends you down the deep end, full bloody force. After knocking down the three bullies and probably kicking them enough time in the balls to probably prevent them from ever having children, I decided I wanted to do some exploration around the school before going to the headmaster's office. I ended up exploring the attic above the girls' dorm, where I was chased by this big fat German girl. Luckily though, she can't run as long as Jimmy and she gets tired easily. You actually become friends with her later on in the game by retrieving a box of chocolates that some boys had stolen from her and taken to the boys' toilets to eat. This is also one of those games that shows you how long you've been playing in the stats. So far I've beaten up 3 people and I've outrun a fat German girl, and I've only been playing for about 4 minutes and 49 seconds. I love games that do this. Basically, all these words are, scrambled up, and you've got to make out what you can use to spell with those letters that you have. Mostly everything that I write doesn't work, and I actually did really bad at first and struggled the first time I did this. Luckily, the second time I did this lesson, I got a lot more words than I did last time. Meow is also a word you can do. While trying to avoid the slingshot attacks, just grab things like trash can lids and bricks and throw them at the guy. After beating the first boss, you're rewarded with the slingshot. Eventually you'll get the skateboard too, which is really useful for getting away from prefects. There's many lovable characters in this game, at least for me, personally, but I think Edna's the best out of all of them. She's so snotty and arrogant, she doesn't care about anything, you can just tell, even with the food she's preparing for the entire school.
Nice!
Shut up, kid! It adds flavor to it!
In the level last minute shopping, she sends you on this errand round town. I highly recommend changing out of your school uniform, or you will get decked by a copper off your bloody bike. I found that out the hard way. It also makes the level a lot easier. You can also kill some time if you don't feel like going to class and play arcade games in this game. You play this game for the first time in the boys' dorm, except it's an overhead view and it's harder to play. When you've unlocked the lighthouse save room, you can play this game again and it's in third person, which makes it easier to play. There's also this arcade game called Consumo, kinda like the word consume. It's kind of a spoof from the word. Anyway, basically you go for apples, fish and rice bowls while avoiding the ones that are rotten. The more you eat, the fatter you get. Seems simple enough. Although it's not. Die once and that's it. You have to start all over again. You lose your progress and your points. This lesson right here, shop, I cannot figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do. I've only passed this class once. You do get a reward because you can upgrade your bike if you pass this class, but most of the time Jimmy keeps hitting his hand and I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. Another good example is the Cook's Date mission. I failed this mission 4 bloody times in a row because I could not figure out which button to bloody press to climb on top of the tree. This was very frustrating. Even worse, there's a time limit. Now I'm going to talk about the music in the game. Rockstar is well known for having games with decent music, but I'm going to focus on just one of the themes here. It's the theme that plays at the startup screen. I love how it sounds, it just matches the feel of the game. After doing the prep mission, I struggled to get Jimmy's original hairstyle back, but here's what you're supposed to do if the same thing happens to you. Make sure you go to the Happy Mullet, that's the barber's shop on the right hand side of the town, outside the school gates. Don't go to the one on the left hand side because the buzz cut isn't an option. If you can't see the buzz cut right down, you're in the wrong barber's shop. Click on that and you'll have Jimmy's original hairstyle.
Then you want to sit on my knee?
You want a kick in the balls?
In Chapter 3, which takes place during the Christmas season, there's this drunk Santa Claus. He's actually the hobo of the game. It's the same guy, he just dresses up as Santa in the Christmas season. He tells you that these boys have been beating him up and he wants you to get rid of them. This level is so simple and it makes so much sense really, it's actually very fun. You end up climbing the top of a ladder to a roof and you get in position. You just throw snowballs at the kids you can see, and that's pretty much all you do. It's pretty satisfying though. I haven't played too many missions where there's levels like this. The only game that comes to mind is The Last of Us Part 2. You bump into this guy again after only just doing the first mission where you encountered him the first time. He tells you that there's an imposter Santa Claus going around taking pictures and making money that should be his. The idea for this level is to literally destroy everything. Santa's sleigh, the presents, the candy canes, the candles. You can even hit the elves with the baseball bat. Not only that, you can get in fights with the elves, which is actually pretty funny. Also Santa Claus, but good luck beating this guy up, he will floor you. A large proportion of this game revolves around doing errands for people. I highly recommend doing the paper route errands though. You always get the newspaper in the letterbox, it never misses, it's very accurate. Also makes this mission a lot of fun. You do have limits though. Occasionally a dog will run after you, but you can make him go away by throwing a newspaper at him. There's only 7 of these to do, and that's pretty much it. I feel like it would be wrong if I didn't talk about some of the other classes in this game. Dodgeball in gym class is pretty fun. This is the one sport I could actually play well in high school. All the big kids would get annoyed when I'd avoid all their attacks. Then they'd hit you as hard as they could in the arse when your back was turned, even when the game was over. In Biology Class 4, you're dissecting a dead bird. When you're at the end of this biology class, you'll literally cut open the bird's womb and take out its 3 unhatched baby eggs. This is disturbing. Once again, Hobo Santa makes an appearance. In this level, you have to take pictures of kids when they're looking directly at the camera and smiling. Unfortunately, this little shit smiles for like a split second. Most of the time I can't get it.
Smile. Why should I? You suck!
Look at the camera!
Damn it.
You're on camera!
Damn it. Come on. Fuck.
Well, at least you're not.
Gotcha, you little bastard. If you want a level that'll really cheese you off, then the Jealous Johnny level is for you. In this level, Johnny suspects that his girlfriend Lola is cheating on him. At one point, he even accuses Jimmy of, quote-unquote, having her. You have to take pictures of Lola and Gord on their date. This seems simple enough because there's only 3 you have to take, but trust me, it's not. Don't even pay attention to the green frame background. It doesn't mean that you've got the photo correct. If you're not 100% precise with this and accurate, it doesn't count, and you will have to do it all over again. You have limits though, because they only kiss twice, and they only give each other gifts twice. Basically, if you fuck up enough times, you're fucked, you have to do this again. I failed this mission at least 9 times in a row. Also, make sure you clear the space in your photo album when doing this mission, because if you take those photos and you've got more than 5 photos saved on your camera, you will lose those photos, you will not be able to save them. I felt like one of those creepy paparazzis in Hollywood following around a famous couple. After making it past this godless mission by some bloody miracle, I decided to sprint back to Johnny as fast as I could to give him these damn photos. But guess what? That's not it. You have to lead this Gord arsehole to the bike park after you've done that mission. Also, you can't go too fast because then you'll fail the mission. You have to wait for him. Luckily though, he crashed in the wall. Yeah, arsehole. When you're in the bike park area, get used to falling off your bike a whole bunch of times. You're getting dynamite thrown in your face left and right. You help Johnny take on Gord's gang. took out everyone else, the last person standing was Gord. Luckily he fell off his bike and I got to beat the crap out of him. Very early on in the stages of Chapter 4, you fight Ernest. This specky four-eyed prick is the worst. He constantly shoots you, constantly. It's very hard to figure out his pattern. Do not get caught in the crossfire because he'll shoot you like 6 times and most of the time your health is almost gone. Speaking of health, there is no soda cans. None. Nada. Diddly fucking squat. Which makes this boss fight really frustrating. Even worse, he just moves to the next thing and you have to take care of that. Where he throws dynamite and it scatters all over to the 4 winds. Where the fuck is a soda can? How the hell do you expect me to beat this guy with no health upgrades?
Oh, you like this, Jimmy?
However, there is one soda can you can find. Just one. It's over here. Thank God I found it because I did not want to fail this boss fight a second time and have to do it a third time. After doing that mission, I ended up in the fair, where I ended up doing the Funhouse mission. You walk down a long hallway past the clown's yellow teeth. This room here, for some reason, it reminded me of the Doctor Who intro. I don't know why, maybe because it's circle-ish and everything's moving around.
I have so many years ahead of me. Don't do it!
When you've got past the hallway, you run into Bucky and Fatty, and then you deck all these bullies that are picking on them. In this part of the funhouse, everything's upside down except the table. Kinda reminds me of that movie Escape Room. You jump on the table and you push forward the book that stands out from all the others, then a ladder will come down. Then you end up in the graveyard section. To my knowledge, this is the only time the game goes from being a third person to being a side-scroller. Just avoid the animatronics and you'll be fine. Keep going forward until you hit the control room or the security room. This might as well be called the control room because you do actually take control of the animatronics. Wait for Bucky and Fatty to run past. Time this just right and he'll pull it off. So basically, every time a bully runs down, you have to press A and one of the giant sickles will come crashing down. It's pretty easy to do actually in AIM, you won't have trouble doing this, well at least I didn't. Then you're in a maze section. Most maze sections absolutely suck in games and they're very hard to navigate. This one's fine though, I didn't struggle much, I only got lost I think once.
Somebody save me!
Then you're in this minor animatronic part where you have to avoid their spades. Unfortunately, I died on this part because I was low on health.
Maybe she's like a prophet or psychic or something. I'll get them for the way she's showing me that.
Now obviously I expected to restart the mission just at the fair, but no, you have to cycle all the way back to the school. Why? Why can't I just restart the level back at the fair? Why do I have to piss about and go all the way back to the school? Since we're not in side-scrolling mode anymore, it can be pretty tricky to avoid the animatronics attacks. Don't bother looking behind yourself like I did. Bucky and Fatty won't bother following you until you turn all of these guys off. I climbed to the top of the ladder and got to the first switch, where a bully is waiting for you with a baseball bat. I'll be damned if I'm gonna go all the way back to the beginning again. Once you've done all 3 switches, Bucky and Fatty will now follow you. You lead them out of the warehouse and that's the level. Out of all the ones I've played so far, this one is actually pretty decent and very fun to play. In this level, just before you hit the boss fight, there's this cool theme that plays. It makes the game sound like a sci-fi movie. I died the first time I did this boss fight. I was struggling at first. This guy swings a big ass metal pipe at Jimmy, and you have to block him with your shield. You have to time this just right. When he's vulnerable, you can hit him.
Stop wasting time!
This is annoying because your shield has limits. Enough breaks and you'll have to get another one. This guy's a lot faster than Jimmy as well, which makes it harder. When Edgar's health is halfway down, he'll run downstairs and Jimmy has to follow. Once again, there's no health upgrades for this boss fight. But come on, nothing at all? This makes it really hard. This is a boss fight, give me something at least. At the end of the boss fight, Jimmy grabs a pipe himself. You can get some payback from getting knocked on your arse so many times with his pipe. When Edgar goes for a big attack, just press Y a bunch of times and he'll always fall down. Once you've done that enough times, you'll beat him.
You had enough? You want some more? Come on, big guy!
In the final level, Jimmy and Russell go to the school to deal with the chaos. How strong is Russell? He literally runs head first into the school gate, busting it open. Jesus Christ. I'm glad this guy's on your team. And I'll paraphrase, when I mean chaos, I mean utter bloody chaos. Look at this, everyone's beating the shit out of each other. You go to the parts of the school where the yellow X's are, taking out each leader. The first one is the girls' dorm. The second is the library. You get the idea. Once you and Russell beat the crap out of a last leader, which is Biff, and if that isn't a Back to the Future reference, I don't know what is. Russell's health is almost down as well. I didn't die at all in this mission. But it's annoying. Why can't I just heal Russell? There's literally a soda can right there. Not that it really matters. This is pretty much the end of the game. Then Jimmy heads to the top of the school where he confronts Gary. Gary is Jimmy's enemy in the game and is probably the biggest prick Bulworth Academy has to offer. Gary doesn't fight fair either. While Jimmy's climbing on a ladder, he'll push down a pile of bricks at Jimmy. You can avoid this, but the first time it happens, you're completely not expecting it.
Poor little Jimmy, all alone.
Not only that, while Jimmy's balancing on a long piece of wood, Gary will launch bricks right at Jimmy. You can avoid this by intentionally walking off the edge and then mashing the Y button to get back on.
If I win, you're just another punk! You win, and you'll be sent away even quicker for beating up the head boy!
Why'd you do it, Gary?
Because I can! Because making little people like you and the morons who run this place eat out of the palm of my hand feels great!
But I never did anything to you!
You would've if I'd given you the chance! Face it, I'm smarter than you!
Oh, congratulations! You're smarter than me!
After Jimmy gets pissed when Gary said stuff about his mother, they both fall off the roof and they end up fighting on the scaffolding, and the final boss fight begins. Don't worry about Gary being a hard boss fight, you kind of just beat the shit out of him. He won't dodge most of Jimmy's attacks. Occasionally he'll pin you at the railing. If you keep pressing Y, you'll fall down and you'll end up on another part of the scaffolding. After Gary's health is all the way down, you'll fall through the third scaffolding, where you'll end up in the headmaster's office.
I heard the whole thing! You're expelled! Come and untie me, boy!
Yes, sir! Sorry, didn't see you there.
Zoe and Jimmy share a kiss and then the credits roll, and that's Bully. All in all, a pretty great game. I don't believe anything would get made like this today though. Alright, so we are done. 18 minutes and 53 seconds. This is my longest review of anything yet. I hope you enjoyed watching this review as much as I did in reviewing this game. I'll give a score now of 1 to 10. I'll give this game an 8 out of 10. It does have frustrating levels, but so do most Rockstar games, but that doesn't ruin the experience. It's a good game.